Hello again, everybody. Welcome into Gamecock Central Radio. Gamecock basketball, the men's team with another victory today, and the Gamecocks are now 6-0 to start this 2015-2016 season. Emerson Phillips, joined by Gamecock Central insider Carey Rich. Carey, the Gamecocks playing at home today after this victory in the Paradise Jam tournament earlier this week in the Virgin Islands. And a matinee game today, 2 o'clock start on Black Friday, and another South Carolina win, 92-76. The Gamecocks over Lipscomb. Give us your thoughts on the game today, Carey.
Well, certainly you're always happy with the win, and this is the type of game that scares you if you're South Carolina, because you're coming off of a big win, winning a championship, and you're going up against a team that happens to be a team that you're a favorite against. So there's always that opportunity for maybe a letdown or maybe a hangover from the big win prior to this game. But South Carolina found a way to get it done, especially when you're going up against a team like Lipscomb, a team that spaces you out, they spread you out, 5-man motion, they backdoor you, they shoot threes. So you have to play with a lot of discipline defensively. It's almost like, from a football analogy, it's an analogy. If you're playing against a Citadel football offense or Georgia Tech offense, you kind of have to throw all your defensive principles out the window for 40 minutes. That's what makes it a little bit more difficult, a little bit more challenging. That's why you have to play with so much discipline as a defensive player against a team like Lipscomb.
Carey, I saw Lipscomb led the nation in three-point attempts coming into this game, and they shot 13 of 35 from three today. I would think Frank Martin would be pretty pleased with that percentage overall. Is that acceptable, 13 of 35?
Well, it is acceptable to a certain extent because this is who they are. This is their identity. Every team has an identity, and this is their identity. When you look at the personnel and just the overall makeup, in the game of college basketball, if you're shooting 35% or better from the three-point line as a player, you now become a priority for the defense that you're going up against. You become a priority to now make you a driver as opposed to allowing you to get your feet set. So, this Lipscomb basketball team, they have 4 guys that are 38% or better, upper 30s, mid-40s, and one guy shooting 50% from the floor, from the three-point line. So, this is who they are, and it's very hard to take a team out of what they do, especially when you're really, really good at it. But as we saw tonight, they can shoot the basketball. Again, they spread you out. They backdoor you, so they keep you occupied off the ball. They keep you busy, and that's when they're able to knock down those three-point shots. Pretty good shooting basketball team.
Lamona's Chatkevis just led the Gamecocks again today with 17 points. It was 16 off the bench for Dwayne Notice. Mindaugas Kaichenis had 15, Michael Carrera 13, Chris Silva, the freshman, 12 points and 7 boards, and Justin Mackey chipped in 6 off the bench as well. Carey, Sindarius Thornwell, coming off this MVP performance at the Paradise Jam, didn't have a good day offensively at all today. He was 0 of 5 from the floor. He only had 2 points, but even on a bad offensive day, he still contributed with 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals. What was going on with Thornwell today?
Well, just one of those games. That's just who he is. He's not ever going to be that player that's going to get you 18 to 20 points a game. He's not that type of guy. He's a basketball player. He's a utility guy. And it was just one of those days where he couldn't get it going offensively. And, you have to give Lipscomb credit for that. But also it kind of goes back to that hangover effect or maybe some residue left over from an exciting victory, especially with the way they played. They left a lot over in the Virgin Islands with regards to how hard they played. I had an opportunity to speak to Frank yesterday. That's the one thing that he was excited about. He talked about, now seeing some similarities shared between this team and the teams that he coached in K-State with regards to the physicality that they're playing with from an offensive rebound standpoint and a defensive standpoint. He's now seeing where this basketball team is wearing other teams down. So those guys played hard and left a lot over there. And who knows, maybe some of that is, for Sindarius is still over in the Virgin Islands. But, they got it done, and this is how this team is going to win. I don't think you'll ever see the same guy as the leading scorer. I think it's going to fluctuate. It's going to go back and forth, but it's always going to be done by committee.
Carey, what does it say about this team when Thornwell only scores 2 points, but the Gamecocks win by 16? I think that's a good sign.
Well, it speaks to their identity, and it speaks to how this team is made up, how this team is comprised. And also, I've spoken to a few local recruits that, and not only local recruits, but just basketball people. And the one thing that they've always kind of held against Frank Martin and his offense was, they don't play fast. They're a little bit too methodical. They don't play in transition. And the one thing I quickly countered with, well, it's hard to play fast when you don't have talent to play fast with. You're not going to just play fast just for the sake of playing fast. We saw that in the regime prior to Frank Martin, where you're just playing fast to play fast. Well, you play fast, you still got to play with a purpose. You still have to play with a sense of efficiency. And now this basketball team is averaging almost 85 points a game after 6 games. That certainly goes against the myth that's been associated with a Frank Martin basketball team, that they don't play fast, they're a little bit too methodical, they don't play in space, don't play in transition. Well, for a team that's getting 85 points a game, I certainly think that goes against the myth that was in place.
Right. Gamecocks had 51 at the half today, led 51-40, and went on to beat Lipscomb today 92-76. So South Carolina shot almost 52% from the floor in this ball game, 34 out of 66, despite shooting just 5 of 19 from 3. So Carey, the Gamecocks are 6-0. It's their best start in 12 years, and it was 12 years ago the last time the Gamecocks made the NCAA tournament. Next game coming up Monday night at home, 7 o'clock tip against Western Carolina.
Sounds good. I can't wait to get out there. I have a very, very good friend who's the assistant coach at Western Carolina, Anquan McCullum. And that Western Carolina has been on the verge the last couple of years of getting into the NCAA tournament via the conference tournament, but just hasn't been able to get over the hump just yet. So I'm looking forward to Western Carolina coming to town, and I'm looking forward to hopefully South Carolina shaking off maybe some of their rust or maybe some of the residue left over from the Virgin Islands trip.
All right, very good. It'll be game 2 of this 4-game Gamecock homestand, 7 o'clock tip Monday night at the CLA against Western Carolina. And, Carey, you and I will talk more Gamecock basketball after the game Monday night. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you so much. Sounds good, Emerson.
All right, Carey, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. For Carey Rich, I'm Emerson Phillips, and this is Gamecock Central Radio.